Is this your first show?
This is the first one. You're my test subject. I figured you would be the best test subject. Okay, well, welcome to Cocktails with Cutie. I hope you have fun today. For people that don't know the premise of the show, essentially what it is I have Amouranth here, and we're going to be getting to know Amouranth. But first, we're going to...
Amouranth. Minecraft villager version. Amouranth.
First we're going to be opening these care packages. I sent Amouranth one. With stuff to make a cocktail. So we're going to make a cute little cocktail. You don't drink often on stream, do you?
Oh, no, not since I left the tub. Not anymore. I used to drink every tub session just to survive, but you know. Wow, this is so professional. Look at you. This is so cute.
We're making a very special Amouranth-inspired cocktail today.
Oh.
It's called the Mermaid, or the Blue Lagoon. Oh. You can call it either one of those. So it's very Amouranth.
Cute.
Okay, so we're gonna check here as you open. You should have one cocktail shaker.
It's so pretty.
Perfect.
This is so pretty.
And then you should have one cocktail glass.
Ooh, good ASMR potential. Oh, I love it. So pretty.
Okay, and then you should have a small bottle of vodka. And then you should have some edible glitter.
Oh, edible glitter.
A little small.
Are my poops gonna be glittery too?
Yeah, if you eat enough of it.
Oh, amazing.
We've got a pretty blue drink happening. Now, half a shot glass of vodka. Oh, I went a little heavy. That's gonna be great for me. Hold it closed, and then hold it over your shoulder and shake. Nervous?
One more. I don't want it to get on my dress, just in case.
You look cool doing that. Don't worry. Chat, can you see this glitter? Look at that glitter. Oh, there you go. Look at all that glitter. That is beautiful. Mmm. What a lovely drink. Anyway, okay, we have our drinks now. We're ready to begin. We're ready to begin the interview portion of this evening, which is exciting. Are you comfortable with having a drunk interviewer? Are you okay if I get drunk and ask you?
Of course.
Great. Because this is amazing.
Just don't take off your clothes or anything.
I will try not. Not yet. Yeah. Okay. The original question. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from?
Cotton Eye Joe.
Cotton Eye Joe.
I'm from Texas. Texas.
You were born and raised in Texas?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
What about you? Can I ask you a question?
No, Amouranth. This is not about me. Okay, what did you do before Twitch?
I did character company parties for like kids' birthday parties. So I did like Disney princesses and superheroes. Yeah, I worked for a few other companies in high school, and then when I got out of high school, I started my own company.
Oh my god, I didn't know you started your own.
Yeah.
How long did you do that?
Seen any of them? I thought you've seen costumes. No?
I've seen your costume. I've seen some of your princess costumes. I just didn't know. I didn't know you ran your own business.
Yeah. You did. I did that for a few years. And then I started streaming, and that just blew the princess income out of the water eventually. So.
Yeah, it'll do that. How long ago did you start streaming?
2016.
Wow.
I know, it's been a while.
It has been a while. How did you hear about Twitch?
I was on the internets already because I was involved in the cosplay community, and they were trying to grow their creative category and bring people to do stuff in that section on their site. And I was one of the cosplayers they reached out to and was like, hey, we have this creative section, come make costumes on stream. And I was like, I'm already making costumes anyway, let's do it. Oh, and eventually, though, they stopped promoting the creative section, so that kind of died. And I was like, well, I mean, I have a following now, so what do I do? And I went into like some IRL category, and that eventually led to here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what would you do in IRL? Also, tell me if I'm asking questions too
Great
quickly.
question.
You're very fascinating to me.
For a while, I also made costumes in the IRL section.
Okay.
I started doing just dance. I started
Perfect.
streaming at conventions, and I made the costumes for. Sometimes I would dress up in my princess costumes and go to the park and stream. Before Twitch was like really crazy about like, don't film other people. I had like kids come up to me and take pictures and stuff. I would stream some of my charity events with my character company. It was very wholesome.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so
It was so
sweet.
wholesome.
You know what's funny is before I ever started like seriously streaming, we were at dinner with it was my boyfriend at the time and one of my best friends from high school and her boyfriend, and I was talking about Twitch and I was like, I think I'm gonna stream on Twitch, and the boyfriend of my friend was like, oh yeah, there's this one girl on Twitch that makes millions, and and her viewers like fall in love with her and approach her at conventions.
What do you mean?
No, he was talking about you.
Oh,
He pulled up a picture of you and he said that he was like, this is her. And I had no clue who you were at the time because I didn't know internet culture and he did. But it's just such a funny story to hear. Like he was like so just like, oh yeah, da da
and
da
that's
da.
when you first met Ludwig.
No, that wasn't. That wasn't. That wasn't.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest interaction you've ever had with a viewer and or like a moderator?
With a viewer. That's like every day.
What about like in person?
Like in person?
Yeah.
At conventions?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, I don't know if he was a viewer or not, or if he was just creeping on cosplay girls in general. But I was at a Comic-Con I was like a cosplay guest, so I was at a booth. And I was just sitting there, and this guy comes up, and he's like, hi, and he looked at my name on the table, Amaranth. Um, Free hugs. He had like a sign on him that said free hugs, and I was like, sure, why not? Because I was also streaming it, and I don't want to deny people hugs because then I
Yeah.
look like an asshole, you
Oh
know?
yeah.
I don't know. This could be my biggest fan, my viewer. Who knows? Um, and so I gave him a hug. It was just a Spider-Man, and it was really uncomfortable because he held me for too long for one, and then he moaned in my ear. It was like a like a breath. It was like a it was like
No.
no. And like he still had on it and I was like, okay, hug's over.
Oh
And he was like,
no.
okay, bye. Like he just like left. And I was like, what is happening? And I feel like I should have charged for that hug.
Yeah,
That should not
he
have been
coomed
free.
in his pants. That's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And the next day he came back because I was in a different costume. I think I was in Wonder Woman, and he had his little sign, free hug again, and I was like, you can't moan in my ear this time though. And he was like, what? Then he just like hugged me. He was kind of stunned, and then he like walked off because I confronted him.
Oh my god.
It was so bizarre.
Oh my god, that
Oh
is
my
so
God,
bizarre.
it is. I wish that the stream history went back that far. That clip would have been legendary, but it got purged when the DMCA first struck and everyone deleted their clips en masse.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Will
I
you
only
still give
hugs now
hugs?
in the presence of security guards because I always have a security
Ah,
guard with me.
that
Because
is
then if
smart.
someone does something and the security guard gets on them, then it's content,
Good point.
content.
Who do you normally hang out with at TwitchCon? I know there's like a meme that you only hang out with your mods. Is that true?
Pretty much, but that's because I guess I wasn't big enough viewer count for people to look past the thought contamination and want to hang out with me. But I think now I've reached past the thought and I'm like, it's okay, she's a thought, she has viewers. So now people will hang out with me.
Oh, okay.
I've
I
become
love that.
content now instead of just a nuisance. So
The thing
yeah.
is, I think, at least personally, the thing that always has separated you from anybody else is I think you are the only person who does what you do and can also make fun of it. Like,
That's true. I think
you
a lot
are
of girls
the
still take themselves too seriously.
yeah, you are the only one that doesn't take yourself too seriously, and I think that is the thing that stood out to me about you. But
Oh, thank you.
I think you're very self-aware, yeah, and I think that's amazing because you have to be.
I don't know if it's the drink or if it's you, but my entire body is sweating, so I'm gonna turn the fan.
Oh, I hope it's neither. You're like, I'm having an allergic reaction. So how did you first get into costume designing?
Oh, I was always into Halloween since I was
Oh
a
my
kid.
God. Yeah, me too. I love
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah, I would start planning my costume like the day after Halloween for next year, and then I would start putting it together like in the summertime. And then when I started using the internet more, I noticed there was something called cosplay. Because you see YouTube videos of conventions, like, oh, that looks fun. Because I grew up playing video games, watching anime, so I really wanted to get into it. And I looked it up the Houston local conventions, and just was like, wow, there's one coming up in whatever month. I think it was spring sometime. So I made my first costume for it with the help of my aunt, because she's actually a seamstress. She taught me how to sew. And then I went as Princess Zelda.
Oh
And
my
I won my
God.
first contest.
That's so
That was
cool.
fun.
I love hearing
Yeah.
that. Um, so were you invited to work for the Houston Ballet and Houston Grand
Mhm.
Opera in their costume designs, I'm
Yeah.
reading?
Yeah, because I took fashion design slash theatrical costume design at college in Houston. And my professor, since I've already been doing costumes before I went to college, he saw like my level of work, and he straight out told me like, you really don't need to be in classes. Like this kind of
Wow.
career, 'cause at the time I wanted to do movie costumes. It's like this kind of career you don't need actual schooling for. You just need to know people and have a portfolio. And so he like recommended me, like personal reference, since he's like super popular. He actually made the costumes for the Texas Renaissance Festival that the King and the Queen wear. He was a really cool professor.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
yeah, it was dope. And he recommended me to the staff at both the opera and the ballet, and I was able to work there part-time in the costume shop, and it was really interesting. And then I figured out I don't want to do that.
Really? What made you not like, why don't you want to do it?
Because there seemed to be a very strong bias in that industry towards the older people. The older people get the more like high level jobs, even if the work of the younger people is still just as good. They're not nearly as respected. It's like the boomers
Uh,
respect the other boomers, and so they have the kids who are like in their 20s doing the grunt work. That's like
mm,
really like sew this button on, sew
yeah.
all the buttons on these things. I'm
Can
like, I don't
bejewel
want to work
this.
my way
Yeah.
up in this business. It's like, fuck
That's
this. I'm
so
gonna go be
cool
a
though.
spot.
Oh my God. I want to see some of the stuff you've designed. You'll have to send me pictures. I love
Yeah,
that
just
kind of stuff.
portfolio, mostly on my CaitlinSaragusa.com
Oh my
website.
God. This is
Yeah.
fascinating. Um, okay. So you turned those down just because you were like, never mind, f it.
Well, the part-time, since it was only like seasonal, they don't have shows going all year, so like they
Oh,
hire extra help for the shows. And after that, I just like didn't bother going back because I decided I don't want to do this. I'd rather take my costume design skills and start my character company. Because at the time I was working the princess jobs for other companies on the weekends and then doing the opera and ballet costuming during the week. So I was working like three jobs.
and at the character, because I used to work as Cinderella at Disneyland. Um, so I have some funky stories.
I
Like
want to hear.
I have funky stories, and so I'm curious. Like one thing that always surprises people that I tell them is like, there's nothing me Cinderella can do about a dad grabbing my ass while posing with his family. Yeah, there's nothing a princess can do
I
because that
get
would
that
be
too sometimes.
yeah. So I was
Yeah.
curious, do you have any stories from when you used to dress as a princess that
Yeah, luckily though, like the ones the dads hit on, like they didn't really hit on Elsa and Anna, which was interesting. I guess because they're not as classic, the
that is
dads don't really know
so
them. It's so
weird.
weird. Yeah, the kids hit on Elsa because she got the slit in her dress. I had a 6-year-old who was obsessed with me.
That's so
But yeah, they would
funny.
hit on like Cinderella. They would hit on Snow White. They would hit on Ariel in the ball gown. And like you're just still smiling because like you're not gonna turn around and start a scene because that's not what a princess would do to the kids. And you want a tip still. You don't want to
Yeah, you're
make
also
your
yeah, that's in the
mom
back of your
angry.
mind. Is like I need a
And so
tip.
you just kind of like
Oh my
that's
God.
all you can do. Ugh, it's
What's
really
your
annoying.
what was your favorite princess to dress up as?
Anna.
Anna?
Ariel's a very close second, but Anna I think is more of my personality, where she's just kind of like high energy and bubbly and can burp and eat chocolate messy and get away with it. Yeah.
Okay, so your what is Charmed Affair was
Yeah.
your entertainment company, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So what what's the correlation between the show on TLC, The Little Couple, and Charmed Affair? What happened?
I was Elsa on The Little Couples. I don't know if you watch that show ever.
I didn't I've never heard of that show, but
Yeah, they hired my company, and because I own it, I was like, I'm gonna be at it. And so I was Elsa at the Little Couple's daughter's birthday party, and it was really fun.
oh my God.
Yeah, she was so cute.
So
Can't
you were on the
really
TV show.
Yeah. It was really interesting experience because they had like put the mic in my dress behind me and stuff, and they're like, "You're gonna walk in here." I was like backstage, like, "You're at this time, you're gonna walk in this way, and then you're gonna do these activities with the kids." And it was really fun.
I know this because I've talked to you before, but your goal with streaming is to eventually open your own kind of rescue place, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's the goal.
When do you hope to do that?
For me, I don't really have like a deadline in mind because at this point, I'm really lucky. I never thought that my trajectory would still be going up like this
Yeah.
late into the Twitch game. Like I've been streaming since 2016 and it was kind of stagnant for a few years. And I thought, well, that's about it. I'll just grind until I have enough money. But now that it's going up so much so quickly, like my net worth and stuff and like my numbers everywhere pretty much, I feel like I'm just gonna let it run its course and see how much I can save for it because it doesn't make sense to cut off the train if it's going uphill right now. Because a year ago, if I had started like a really small shelter, I would have distracted myself to the point that I would never get to this place and I wouldn't be able to save as many animals as I now have the potential to. So I feel like right now it just makes sense while I'm young and I have the energy and I have the opportunity. I'm just going to keep grinding it. And once the career starts stagnating for a long time or even slightly declining, is I think when I'll make the pivot. But hopefully
That
before
makes a
then,
lot
though,
of
even
sense.
before, yeah, hopefully before the actual sanctuary. Right now, I'm looking for a ranch property because I want
Oh,
to move for my own personal ranch and start building like prototype facilities on there and start fostering a few dogs, like as like a test run to make
oh
sure I
my
like the
God.
design of the buildings and everything. So even before the sanctuary is actually built, I still want to save animals. Just I won't be able to do it at the same scale as I will later down the
Yeah.
road. But
It's
so I need
chat.
to
Someone
staff.
in chat said what type of animals, but it's mostly dogs, right?
Yeah, mostly dogs, and then also horses too, because there's a lot of horses, like ex-race horses, that they have like a really shitty life if they don't win their races after they were no longer able to race. So a lot of times they just get slaughtered or put down on the track. And the goal eventually, I don't know if I'll get to this point because that's even more expensive than the dog rescue, is to have like my car to every racetrack and be like, hey, if you have a horse that has just like a leg injury it can recover from and the owner doesn't want to and he would euthanize it, call me and I'll arrange transport and
Oh my
rehabilitate them.
God.
But yeah, that's the eventual goal. But that's like if I hit it out at the park, grand slam net worth because that's even more expensive.
Do you have, and this is where you might start drinking, and that's fine. You can start drinking. Do you have a streamer that you can think of that you had a bad first impression with?
Hmm. I don't think that I do. I think I mostly give people the benefit of the doubt because I feel like everyone who, even if they have a bad reputation, they're probably just putting on an act because it's been working for them.
True.
No, I don't really take like at face value at what people say on stream. I'm like, oh, they're probably doing it to pander to their audience. Like that could be not how their personality is not at all off stream. It's just what's worked to get them to this point.
Wow, you're so smart. You're so smart. That's a good point. A lot of people hated me when I was first on Twitch, and then they realized like I was pandering to a character that got me views.
Yeah.
So, and look at me now. I pandered long enough that I sit at a few thousand now.
Yeah.
It
Look
worked.
at me now. I grew up conservative Baptist.
Did
Didn't
you?
want to. Yeah, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pander to the thought audience because that's where the money is. And look
That
at me
is where the money
now.
is. I wish I was brave enough. I wish, honestly, like people talk about it, and it's a choice that any woman can make. And I am just not, I don't have the confidence. That's where I say bravery comes in. I don't have the confidence. You have to have so much confidence to pull that off. And
Yeah, that's true. I have my dad to thank for that. Like as a
really,
kid, I used to get bullied a lot because I liked Pokemon. This was before being a nerd was cool when we grew
yeah,
up, right?
yeah.
Being a nerd,
The kids now, are
now it's
like,
cool. And I was like, you don't watch Minecraft streamers? What's wrong with you? Everyone knows Dream, like that kind of shit. But back when we grew up, chat, it wasn't cool to be a nerd. And so I got made fun of for liking Pokemon and carrying my Nintendo DS around and collecting cards and playing video games and watching anime. And you know, girls picked on me. Girls are really mean. They're like, you like the stuff boys like ew. And so I just got bullied a lot. And my dad was like, you know what? If somebody doesn't like you, that's their loss. You're allowed to like what you like, and it says more about them if they don't accept stuff that doesn't hurt anybody. If they can't accept the fact that you have your own interests and are your own person, then they're just not worthy to be your friend. I'm like, oh shit.
Dang.
Good dad.
That's a good dad. And is he very conservative still?
He's actually more on the lax side. My mom is the one who brought the conservative religion into the family.
Oh,
And
okay.
he married into it, and he's like along for the ride to keep the peace. But I feel like he's not the same as me, where it's like everyone can think what they think, and that's great. And I don't care as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. You do you.
Great.
So we're very similar.
So do both of your parents support what you do, or has there been any contention there?
My mom had a little bit of pushback at first. But then I was like, "Hey, mom, I hate to break it to you, but most women, they're out at clubs not telling their parents. They're sending nudes to guys they just met that they don't even know if they actually like, just because they were on a whim, drinking, making bad decisions. And I'm here monetizing everything safely and have the power to know what I'm putting out there." And she was like, "You know what? That's true." And I'm like, I'm also making
Queen.
like $1 million a year at the time when I told her. She was like, "You know what? Where do I get a hot tub?"
You're like, "Bitch, I'm gonna buy you a house. Relax."
My dad's always been like, "Hey, don't give the milk away for free. They're not gonna buy the cow." And so I was like, "You know what, Dad? You're right. I'm gonna sell the milk.
I'm gonna sell all the milk. I'm gonna sell all the milk." Have you had any streamers ever slide in your DMs in a flirtatious way?
Surprisingly, no. Like,
Really?
I've had other check marks, like athletes and stuff. None of them who I know. Like, people have been like, "Do you know who I am?" Like in like a check mark verified show off kind of way, and like I legitimately don't. And I'll tweet sometimes and be like, "Chat, who is this?"
Oh my god.
Like, who is this?
What is your most, so I mean, you've come into, you know, more and more money recently. What is something that you've bought that was just like expensive and it was like, just treat yourself? Have you had one of those moments yet?
My horses.
Your horses?
Yes.
When did you get them?
I got Spirit in February, and I got my newest one, Chiron, in June. So they're definitely pricey.
That's this year. How much do horses cost? I actually don't know.
That's a huge range. You can get a budget horse for a few thousand.
A budget horse.
Sometimes people, if they're really trying to get rid of a horse, they'll sell it for under 1,000, but it's probably not a good horse. But the horses I like are like big draft fancy horses. So usually the average starting price for one of those is about like 12,000, and then it goes up from there.
My God. Horses are too expensive. Who knew?
And that's not even the most expensive part. You got to take care of them for 30 years.
Oh my God. I'm too poor for a horse, chat.
Do you disclose how much money you make a month or no?
God. No, because I don't know how much money I make a month. I'm not even kidding. I just hired an assistant and I'm like, "Yo, how much am I paying out each month?" And she gave me a number and I was like, "What the f?" I was like, "Who the f am I paying?" Like, she added it all up and I was like, "Well, do I have that much money?" I honestly don't look at it. It stresses me out. Have you ever been a diva? Is there a time that you can think of?
Have I ever been a diva?
Yeah.
I would say a little bit actually before I was anybody. I feel like sometimes the most diva people in my chat are the nobodies. But I was really like a cosplay elitist, I would say, right when I first started. Where I'm like, you don't look like the character, or like this, it was kind of like the Gordon Ramsay.
I get it.
Just like, no, these seams, they're raw. They're not finished. Like,
that's funny.
Very much like, and then like, I guess I actually ironically had the most criticism at the time for like the girls who would do like the sexy versions of characters. I'm like, that looks nothing like the reference. And then I learned how much money they're making, and I'm like,
Never
sign me
mind.
up.
That's
I was like, all
funny.
of my thoughts before about like cosplay needs to be perfect. I'm like, perfection. Look at the money.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny. Do you do you ever miss cosplaying? Because you don't do it as much now, do you?
I mean, yes and no. I miss being in the costume and I miss going to events, but I don't miss the stress of trying to get an outfit made in time for an event or
Mm.
like the stress of choosing out all the materials and ordering them and seeing if they're like the perfect thing, blah, blah. Like, I used to enjoy that process more, but I feel like the older I get, the more just exhausting it is. And I
Yeah.
honestly feel like that bias comes about because I'm happy with my actual life now. When I first started cosplaying, I was in high school and I was just a bored high school kid who like felt trapped inside their parents' house with nothing to do. And so I turned to costumes for like my mental escape, like a little
Mm.
fantasy world. But now that I actually like my life and I can buy ponies and I can have more than one dog
Mm-hmm.
at a time, looking at getting a ranch and stuff, now I don't really care about costumes as much anymore.
You're
So I don't
living
feel like
the
I,
dream.
yeah, I'm living the dream.
You
I don't have
are.
to anymore.
And you stream probably more than any other woman on the platform, at least, if not 99% of
I
most
think
men.
the metrics would say that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you enjoy streaming for the most part, or do you look at it more like a job? Like let me clock in, like let me go.
Depends on the day, honestly. I feel like at first, when I first turn on my stream, it feels like a job just because like that stress of not knowing how today is gonna be. You know,
Yeah.
are there gonna be is my view count gonna be average, is gonna be up, is gonna be down, or am I gonna get the average amount of subs, or am I gonna see that sub counter fall off? Like it's just kind of stressful um going on the stream. But then kind of like in the middle of it is when I start getting into my groove and just enjoying being there more. But then by the end of the stream, I'm like, fuck, I'm tired. So
Yeah.
it's like it's both. It's like
Yeah.
throughout the stream. It's like a lows and highs and back down to low again.
And
But all worth it though.
do you like your community?
Mostly. I will say mostly. It's hard to say mostly when you have stalkers, but mostly. I do. The ones that interact that I see on a day-to-day basis, I would say at least 80% of the regulars are great. There's like that 20% hate watchers who seem like there's more than they are because they make multiple accounts and spam. But I actually do enjoy like 80% of you core people. And the rest of you people are probably lurkers and you should talk more so I would enjoy more percentage.
True. Now, you talked about stalkers. How many stalkers do you have, ma'am?
Oh, I don't know because I stopped reading every message.
Really? That's how they would contact you, is through messages?
Yeah, but I have so many different platforms that it's like they could be lurking anywhere. Um, yeah. I know I have at least one of them in Houston that I
Mm.
know of. Who knows how many that I don't know of, right? Um, and then there's I think a few scattered because there's like some repeat people that we see, but I don't know where they live because I just haven't taken that much of an interest in their life. But I know it's not Houston.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know at least one local one and several other ones abroad. I have had like a crazy stalker incident. I think I've already talked about it on my podcast, though. I don't know if we talked about it when you were there, where the
No,
guy
I'd
came.
love to hear about it.
Yeah, there was a guy who was watching my stream, I guess, when I was a smaller streamer. I think this was like less than 1,000 viewers. He was just a viewer, and this is when I still had my DMs open on Twitch. He's actually the reason I closed them, my whispers. And he would just respond to everything I did on stream as if it was like a one-on-one call like we're having right now.
Oh.
Like everything I didn't say on stream, he would like type about it in response to me. It was so bizarre. And he would just do that constantly. Like I kept having to close the notification because I was still new to Twitch, so I didn't know how to like turn it off at the time. And eventually he was like, I'm so glad that I found you and I could support you because he joined like my other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And at the time I'm just thinking like this is harmless. He's just a fan and he's just giving me money. That's great. And I don't talk to him. I wasn't responding because he was giving me weird vibes and I'm like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna run with it, whatever. And then he was like, I'm so over time, like over the course of several months, he was like, I'm so glad that we're friends. And I'm like, it's a little weird, but
Oh
still seems harmless. And I wasn't responding to him at all because I just was very new and didn't know how to shut people down.
no. Yeah.
And he was like, I'm so glad that you're my girlfriend. Like, this is with me not interacting with him at all. All his one-sided, like, diary-like monologues with himself throughout messages on different platforms everywhere, including, like, my Twitch whispers. And I just never responded. And then over time, he's like, I'm so glad we're engaged. And I'm like, what the and as time went on, he was like, "Hey, I'm in Houston. Isn't your friend gonna pick me up from the airport?" And he's actually, and this is when I'm like, "Holy shit, he's actually insane. He's actually delusional." And he would like tweet pictures of me and Photoshop himself behind me on Twitter at that point. I'm like, "What the fuck is happening?" And he was like 60 years old or something. He's actually insane. It was disgusting. And then he would be like, "Oh, I'm at this hotel," because he got my PO box address. That's why I had my PO box closed for such a long time. And he was like, "I'm in the zip code of your PO box at this hotel. Aren't you gonna come meet me?" And then I wasn't responding to him, and he started getting angry in the messages. And I'm like trying to like call the police, but they're like, "Oh, we can't do anything until a stalker is literally on your doorstep." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Thanks, a lot of help that does." Um, And so he's like, "Why are you not coming to see me? Is it your brother? Is he keeping you from me? This isn't gonna work for our marriage if you're avoiding me." Like what the dude? So
Oh
I just
my
had to like
God.
I had to wait until I saw on his Twitter that he left America and went back to Canada, like after a few weeks. Because I feel like any response is getting them what they want.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to be involved at all. And so I had to like house arrest myself.
Oh
I
my
couldn't go anywhere
God.
because he's stalking my PO box. He knows like the post office, and it's known commonly at the time that I go to the gym, and there's only one gym in that zip code, so I couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't go to my PO box. I couldn't go anywhere. I had to like have people deliver stuff to me, like go get something from Walmart or whatever. And I had to keep my dogs inside all the time too, just in case he was driving around
And
looking
he
for
saw
them
the
because my
dogs, yeah.
fence, yeah, my fence was the bar style, so it wasn't solid for privacy. And so I just had a house arrest myself and the dogs for like 2 weeks until he left America, and that was really scary. But I haven't had a crazy one like that I know of come from out of country. The one locally is pretty fucking crazy too, but
Is that the one that lit your house on fire?
I don't know.
Oh.
I Yeah, I have no idea. It could have been, but at the same time, he's the one who he's also seems to be like really obsessed lovingly, not like a hateful stalker. So I'm not
Hmm.
sure.
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
But people are so mentally unstable that you have no idea what they're
Sometimes they
gonna do.
love you so much that they get mad because they can't have you.
Yeah. Yeah, like flip-flopping back and forth. I don't know. Oh.
So, tell me about the fire. How did you figure out your house was on fire? Did you just smell it or?
No, well, not until I went into the kitchen I smelled something that was like kind of like a burning smell, but like I checked like the oven, there was nothing there, and like as I was like
You're like,
walking
am I
trying to figure
having
out
a
what it was,
stroke? Like,
yeah, no, because first I was actually walking through my house and I heard like banging, like an explosion almost kind of sound, but not like a typical explosion loud, like a thud. And then
oh.
like car door thud kind of sounds. And then I heard like my dog banging against the window, I think is when I heard the explosion. Because that's what it sounded like when my dog was asleep. And so I'm like,
Oh.
because I have like a really tall ceiling. So when my dog, the huge bear, bangs on the window, like the house kind of shakes and you can hear it. So that was really weird to me. And I'm like, what was that? So I was like looking around my house, looking upstairs, looking in the attic, and like looking in my kitchen because that's where I started smelling the burning. I'm like, what is happening? Did I have like a gas leak or something? Because my house does have gas for my stove. And I look outside my kitchen window and my trash can is on fire. Like,
Ugh.
and this is the middle of the night, so and I don't have anything like combustible in there at all. I'm like, what the fuck? And like it was like really close to my car, and it was like creeping up towards like like the front of the house where like the bushes and stuff are and everything. And so I had to call the police, and it's really difficult to do that sometimes because people will SWAT occasionally, and that creates an issue for me where it's like now they're thinking that I'm a prank. Like, no, no, this is real. Like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
I need fire trucks here, like actually. And
Yeah.
they came and they put it out just like in time before it like caught the car because like it was like right next to the car, but I'm not going to go out there because it could still be out there.
Yeah.
And so I like made sure my dogs were in and safe inside the house so like they wouldn't set my dogs on fire or something. And so it was like really scary. So we got it put
That's
out luckily
terrifying.
before it got like to the actual like critical parts. But yeah, it was really bad, dude. It was not fun time.
I believe it. Do you feel safe?
I don't think so. Like
Yeah.
I don't think you can feel safe after that.
Mm-mm.
But at the same time, it's like what are you supposed to do, right? I got more cameras though.
Yeah.
So I increased the amount of angles that my cameras cover now. Um, yeah, and I got like text numbers to the police, the officers
That's good.
themselves. Yeah.
If you could change anything about you kind of said like you wish your career was more like Pokey's where you could just go live and do anything.
Yeah.
If you can change anything about your career, is that what it would be?
I think so. Because then I could do more of my like animal streams all the time because currently they're like much lower number than my other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of like I lose money towards my goal of getting a ranch and helping my animals, and I feel kind of guilty because it's like, oh, I took a few hours to go say hi to them like an hour away, so it's an hour there, an hour back, and then had low numbers doing it, and it's like I'm eating into my own ability to give them a better home because
Yeah.
I want to give them their own ranch where they have like so many acres to roam, and so I kind of feel bad
Yeah.
when I
No,
do
that
that.
makes sense. Where did your name come from? How did you choose Amaranth?
Oh, I was actually on DeviantArt before I started streaming, just to have like my cosplay portfolio on there back when DeviantArt was relevant. And I was just trying to come up with an alias that wasn't too like feminine or too masculine because I would do like Link cosplays and stuff because he's like a fairy boy. But I didn't want it to be obvious that I was a girl because I wanted to see how many people I could trick since I was proud of my theatrical
Yeah,
costume and
I
makeup,
love that.
you know. I tricked a lot of people until they saw me in person and saw how short I was. Then it was kind of obvious. But online, I tricked a lot of people. They were like, "I don't know what you are, but it's making me question my sexuality." Because I make a very good link.
I
Anyways,
love
so
that.
I was looking for unisex names, and I was browsing like this name database of Latin names, and there's Amaranth, and I was like, "That's okay, that'll do." And I just kind of stuck with that the whole
Oh my
time.
God. Does Amaranth mean anything?
It's spelled differently, but that version was taken on DeviantArt. It's usually spelled Amaranth, like the flower. Um, and
Oh.
I think it stands for unfading love. So it actually, like, that's what the name means. But it's actually like good because it symbolizes my love for animals. Because the Amor is love, and Amaranth itself is unfading. So it's unfading love now
Aw. That's
for my
very
aminal.
sweet.
Yeah. I still don't like it though now. I wish I had chosen something else. Like if I had just gone with milkers, you know how much promotion I would get
Oh my God.
from other people's
I
streams?
hate you.
Ah, it would have been
Uh,
golden.
all right. I appreciate you. I've had fun. Thank you for testing this out with me.
Bye, cutie.
Bye.